Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Scott Raffensperger. This is the Build Right Podcast. Welcome, everyone. With me today is Christine Raible from Best Tile. Say hi.
Hi. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Very good.
Thanks for coming today.
Yeah,
I appreciate
I'm excited
it.
to be here.
I know it's a busy time of year, so you were able to get away.
Yeah, snuck away for a few minutes. Phone's off. It's going to be good.
Yeah. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. You work at Best Tile, which your position there we'll go over. You're also the president of the CRBRA, which is an awesome local organization. So we got a ton to touch on there. Mm-hmm. To start, give me a little bit of your background. Where are you from?
Sure.
What's your education? I want to know who you are. What got you in this industry?
Yeah. So I grew up downstate in a small town called Wallkill. We have a prison and cows. That's it.
Nice.
So I knew I was getting out of there. So I came up and went to school at Sage College of Albany for interior design. I always had a passion in arts and anything artistic, and I loved, rearranging my room. So I thought interior design would be a good path. While I was doing one of my internships in downtown Albany at Conley Associates, the rep for Best Tile actually came into this designer's office and said, are you looking for a job? What do you do for work? And I said I was waitressing at the time, and she's like, you should come work at Best Tile, get some experience in the industry. And here I am 18 years later.
Yeah.
So it's funny that it's really my only grown-up job that I've ever had. I was a waitress or bartender or whatever, but Best Tile is my life.
Yeah. Well, you're very sought after now as far as the design goes. I know because we work with you, and then a lot of the guys that we've used, tile guys, always are like, "I'll just call Christine. She'll know the selection. She'll know how the colors work." Right. At what point when you were in high school did you? I know you said you like to organize your room, but was there classes that you excelled at? Because interior design, there's men and women involved in that, but the construction industry is predominantly men.
Yes.
So at what point did you think, okay, this is the direction I want to go in because I'm good at art or whatever that class might be? Can you elaborate on that?
I think it was drawing and art that I was very good at. I liked the mechanical side of drawing. I wasn't as good at the freehand side of still lifes. So I was good with a ruler and laying things out. So that really inspired me to kind of go towards that degree in interior design.
Did you have a direction with it that you wanted to do?
I wasn't sure. When I got to school, I was kind of overwhelmed by all the different things because I didn't realize with interior design, it is more than just the aesthetics of the space, the finishes, the colors. There's codes that you have to comply with. You've got to worry about spacing between electrical outlets. And, there is a lot more to it. And that did kind of overwhelm me a little bit. When I was in school, I did enjoy more of the commercial side of things as opposed to the residential. But now I get to do both with my job, which is great because I love working with commercial interior designers. And I also love working with a homeowner on their home. Both of them have a different satisfaction to them.
What draws you to commercial over residential?
I think more the technical side, because it's a commercial space, you're getting traffic, If it's a mental health facility, you have to think about the finishes and how those are going to perform. Are they safe for the patients? If it's an airport, are you worried about luggage getting rolled across that? So it's a little more technical, whereas in a home, it's more emotional. What the homeowner emotionally wants to see and how they live their life and, their family dynamics. I try and talk to clients about that, understand their family life because that dictates the materials that they should be using. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure as a designer, you need to have a grasp on all the trades too.
Yes.
You got to know where the HVAC is going to line up, the plumbing, electrical. Yes, you kind of get a taste of everything, right?
Absolutely. And I think a good designer and a good, someone who assists with selections understands that it is more than just, put this tile and put it there. You have to understand, like you said, what's the stud spacing looking like? Can I put that beautiful niche that I just designed in that wall? No, there's a shower head that's coming across the ceiling or across the wall, so I can't do that. Mm-hmm. So it's I definitely try and get a little taste of each of the different trades, but definitely being cognizant of the tile installers and what they can do and can they do it right. I don't want to design something that they're like, this is impossible to do.
Mm-hmm. A lot goes into it too that people don't understand. Like, is for example, backsplash tiles. They're a certain size so that they stack up to a standard cabinet height.
Right.
You know, or like you're saying with the niche, making sure that layout is right. Having a good designer is huge. You know, it can make or break a project. Sure really.
Can.
You know.
Yeah.
So you're at Best Tile. What's your position there?
So I wear many hats. My title is Operations Manager and Architectural Representative. So I started in the showroom, just kind of walk-in customers and retail. Then I started to get a few different accounts. Then I transitioned to outside sales, working with commercial contractors and architects and interior designers. So really fully in that commercial sector. But I still have a lot of residential accounts. Then when COVID happened, I kind of got a little more into management, dealing with some of the daily store tasks and things like that. So anything and everything, even if there needs to be weeds pulled outside, I'll do that. I think I stop at like cleaning the toilets. That's about where where I'm going to draw the line.
Yeah, that's fair. Only at your house, probably. You won't do it at Best Tile.
Right, not at Best Tile. I'm not doing it there.
What's your favorite part of what you do now? You know, because if you're getting into management, you're probably moving a little bit out of that design. Or are you overseeing people now that are doing
kind of
selections and
yep. So I have a few people that are underneath me, so I do see that, but I still really have my hands in everything, and I don't think that I'd ever want to move totally away from that, at least for now, because it's very satisfying. I think my favorite part is that every day is completely different, like, and which is funny for me to say that because those that know me very well know that I like routine. I do like a schedule. But I also like that I'm doing something different each day. You know, some days I am working on a hospital or I'm working on a stadium. And then the next day I'm helping Mrs. Smith with her little half bath. And she's so happy because she found the tile that she loved. So it's cool that it's just so different.
Do you work with customers and, I say customers, homeowners and builders, contractors?
I do.
So both sides.
Yes.
Do you enjoy one more than the other?
I generally like when there is some sort of whether it's a builder or remodeler involved, even when there's an interior designer involved, instead of just that walk-in, just because there is a little more direction to it. So it's it helps to lead the appointment a little bit easier than trying to pull all the information out, because that's a big thing too, and it's a skill that a lot of people don't have, is pulling information out of people. Because not everybody knows what they want, but you've got to have the techniques to get that information out of them.
So when someone comes in, how do you start with them? Like if you're a blank slate, how are you going to pull that information? Do you start with a budget?
I'm going to share my selling tips with you. I know.
That's what this is about. Come on.
So I have a few go-to things. You know, I'll try and start a conversation of, do you have any ideas of what you're thinking? Do you have any pictures? Do you have a house board? Do you have Pinterest? Do you have any pictures of your existing space or any floor plans? If that doesn't get anywhere, I have a few go-to tile collections that I'll bring them to the collection and I'll say, what do you think about this? Do you like it? Do you like how busy it is? Do you like how smooth it is? Do you want more texture? Because it helps when somebody has something to look at and say, I don't like this about that, or I do like this about that. And it just kind of helps to open up the conversation, get them comfortable. Because I never want anybody to feel like I'm just hammering them with questions. I just want to get the information so I can assist you and get you the right product.
Yeah. There's so many different areas in a house that carry tile too, that are totally different feels and materials.
Yes.
You know, what's the standard selection process time frame? Like with one customer that comes in with no direction, how long do you need to spend with them to figure out what they're going with for their house?
So if they're doing a full house with, say, 2.5 baths and a laundry room, generally 2 to 3 hours should be more than enough time. 2 hours is normally pretty good.
That's surprising because I've seen that showroom. You have feels like millions of different tiles.
Yeah.
You get lost very easily.
Right. Well, if you just went in unassisted and you just wandered around, yeah, you could be in there. We've had people in there for 8 hours. I'm like, you just worked a full shift.
You want a job? We'll put you on payroll.
But that's why it helps when you have somebody there to kind of hold your hand and scale it down for you, because there's millions of tile options.
Yeah. What are some design trends now that you're seeing?
Large format is huge. So especially in like a primary bathroom, doing the 24 by 48s, more of a slab-like look. You have less grout, so it's easier to clean, and it's just more clean and aesthetic.
What do you mean slab-like? Like just...
Like instead of doing stone slabs on the walls, you would do the 24 by 48. So you really have, 4 grout joints on one wall.
Okay. What about colors and textures? Do those come in and out? Are there trends with that?
Definitely. Texture's huge right now. So dimensional materials, even tile that just has some sort of a subtle texture. I do feel like polished is kind of going out a little bit. I feel like more of that matte, sandy finish. And beige. Everything beige right now.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Like whites and grays is kind of going out, but that, kind of like the color, like on the bottom of this mug here, like that sandy, earthy tone.
Earth tones. Yeah, I've always liked earth tones. That gray and white thing, I was never a fan of that.
It's just so cold, and I'm like, I could never live in that sterile environment. I don't know. No. I have too much dirt in my house for that.
Yeah, I get you there for sure. So you're also president of CRBRA.
Yes.
Right. When did you decide to be involved with that organization?
Yeah, probably 2016. I had a couple actually. I went to a CRBRA mixer, and they all kind of cornered me. And they were like, you need to join one of these committees. You really need to get involved. I think it'll be good for you. I always tried to go to networking events, and I'm a huge proponent of networking. I think it's huge. The more people you know, the more connections you have, and you might learn something. So I just started doing that, and then I got on the board, I want to say it was 2019. It was right before COVID. And I was on the board for a few years, and then they were looking for a new president, and I have a hard time saying no. So
what a lot of people don't know is that's voluntary, right?
It is.
I mean, you guys...
completely volunteer.
And there's a lot of time, a ton
It
of
is.
time involved in that.
It is. Yeah. But it really, I have to say, it benefits. I mean, Best Tile, I can say, absolutely has benefited from being a part of CRBRA. We've met new connections. People want to work with you because they see that you're supporting this organization that they're also supporting. So it is volunteer, but it is beneficial to your business in the end. And yourself personally, too.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. You're kind of stepping out of your boundaries a little bit.
Right.
There's a lot of public speaking in there.
Yeah, if you're in a leadership role, definitely there's public speaking, and it's, you're in a board meeting having to present certain things, whatever your, task is. And I just think it helps you grow as a person.
Mm-hmm. Do you see yourself doing that for a long time?
I like being involved. I'll be president again next year. And then I'll be on I'm sure in the leadership ladder for a little while, but I like staying involved, but I also, one of the things that I'm trying to do is get more people involved too. I want to do what those colleagues did to me, is say, hey, you should come join. You should come be involved. This is beneficial, because that's the only way that we'll keep this association going, is continuous and new participation.
Right. So for people listening or watching that aren't familiar, what are some of the things CRBRA does?
We do advocacy. So every year we go to the Capitol, generally in March or April, and we meet with legislators and we talk to them about whatever issues and topics we're having. This year, our big topic to talk about was the DEC wetlands and also the electrification bill. So we try and give them a perspective from the builders and remodelers industry of either why we're in support or why we're not in support of certain things. And it's been very eye-opening to be in these meetings and talk to these legislators, because they're like, we didn't understand that these regulations that we put into effect, how this would really trickle down and affect everything.
Oh my God,
which is
so frustrating.
It's very sad. So many of them just sit there and they're like, wow, really? Oh, wow. I didn't think that. Well, what were you doing then when you put this bill into effect?
Yeah. Let's just pass it and we'll see what happens later.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it. So advocacy is one thing. We do also do networking. So we try and bring our builder, remodeler, and associate members together. We try and push the phrase that members work with members. So at being a member of CRBRA, you are kind of getting a network of people that you can work with. So as an associate is an industry professional. So it could be a supplier, it could be a lawyer, it could be an architect. It's giving them a list of people that they can then work with. So they could look at the list of builders and say, I'm not working with this builder, maybe I should reach out. And conversely, a builder and a remodeler could say, I need a new supplier for windows. Who's a member at CRBRA that I can start getting my windows from?
Yeah. There's also professionals involved with it that are indirectly in the building industry, like
Right.
Accountants and lawyers and things like that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And everyone needs those. So again, it's a network of.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things I found once we became a part of it was I've always loved buildings since I was a kid. Like that's my calling for sure. But I didn't realize how much you had to protect that. Like once we got into the CRBRA and you started seeing some of the legislation, especially in New York State that's going through, you really have to combat some of the policies to save the industry.
Right.
You know, and that's exactly what that organization does for us is it's our voice in the Capital District, right?
Right. And I'm glad you feel that way because it really is a large part of what we do. And we love living in New York, right? It's a beautiful state. We want to continue to live here. We want to continue to be able to build homes for clients and supply materials. And when these laws keep getting passed with no foresight, it's hard for us to do that. So that we definitely try and give a voice to the builders and bring that to the top.
It's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
Really. What are some of the other organizations you guys partner with to represent us?
So we don't really partner with other organizations, but we do also have a couple subcommittees. So we have Young Professionals, which is kind of an entry-level way for younger people or newer people to the industry to get involved in the building industry through networking and connections. And then we have Professional Women in Building, who that's part of the National Association of Home Builders. And that's a group where right now what we're focusing on is trying to get young girls interested in the industry. So we've got an event planned in September or October, I can't remember the date, where we're going to go to Girls Inc. and we're going to teach them how to build something with their hands. I don't know exactly what, but just try and get them interested in construction, whatever that means to them, whether it could be drafting or design or carpentry, you don't know.
Tile.
Or tile.
What's Girls Inc.?
Girls Inc. is an organization for kids that just need a space to go after school. Maybe they don't have the best situation. So it's a kind of a safe space that they can go, like an after-school program.
Is it charity?
Yes.
Okay. Where is it located?
They have a few locations. The one that we're looking at is in Albany.
Okay, cool. Do you guys work with any schools directly for the young professionals? Do you do anything like scholarships or anything? Or
so we do have a few scholarships, but it's not with any schools directly.
Okay.
We have the William Morehouse Scholarship that we give out yearly.
So you mentioned the National Association of Home Builders is one.
Yep.
And then New York State.
There's the New York State Builders Association.
Builders Association.
Yes. Yep. So when you're a member of CRBRA, you are paying your dues to CRBRA, but you are also a member of the National Association and the New York Association. They call it like the three-legged stool, where there's national, state, and then local. So we would be your local Home Builders Association.
Do you guys have as much pull as like the New York State Association or no?
No, we don't.
So you're kind of behind them, pushing them a little bit with most
We're
things?
trying to push them, trying to kick them, the best that we can.
With the stuff going on currently, the wetlands one was huge. And that went through, right?
Yes.
Now we're dealing with the electric thing, and I'm praying it doesn't go through, because in my viewpoint, it's just a punch to the middle class, really.
Right.
Like a gut punch to them, because it's going to bump the price of an already expensive starter home by, I would say, some people are saying 20 grand. I think it's going to be more than that.
Wow. Yeah.
But
well, then you're taking away the right to choose as well.
Exactly.
These homeowners want the choice. And there was a survey that I just saw that came out that 50% of people have no idea that this is going to happen.
That's the frustrating part.
No idea.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go to build a house next year, and it's okay. Well, you have to get all electric appliances. What do you mean? I want to have a propane stove. Well, you can't.
Yeah. So it's something that's not. This is what bothers me the most. Is inside my house, I close that door. That's my sanctuary, right?
Right.
Like as long as it's legal, like fuel oil is legal. How can you tell me I can't have it?
Right.
This is my house, and not to mention we pay taxes on it. But
Right.
It's very frustrating to me. It's a total overstep.
It absolutely is. And I don't know how the grid will be able to handle it. I remember a few months back when we had our first really, really hot day, everybody's cranking their air conditioners. I lost power for 2 days.
Yay.
It was great. And there was so many blackouts, and that was just one day,
Yeah.
without all that extra load. So it's unfortunate that it didn't go the direction we wanted to, but I don't know.
There's still a chance, right?
There is still a chance that, the PSC still has their ruling. They do like a monthly meeting where they can come up with reasonable, I'm trying to think of the verbiage now. There's so many terms that I've never thought I'd need to know in my entire life that I'm learning so much.
Right.
Like reasonable exceptions for certain projects and I don't know if it's certain areas. So that's hopefully going to come out by the end of the year, but we're just waiting for them to add it to their docket of their monthly meetings, and they haven't added it yet.
Mm-hmm. In the Albany Business Review, there's some articles. I feel like now every week you're getting articles of builders talking about how it's going to affect and pretty much an already struggling industry. Like the luxury or the higher end is doing good. That'll probably always do good. But that mid-range starter home, man, there's so many problems with enforcing that electric. Like these subdivisions that have spent all time and money putting in for their gas lines, that they've got letter of credits with Grid or any of the gas companies. Now they're going to lose that.
Absolutely.
Because once the first of the year starts, if the town says, we don't care, you got to put electric in, cap the lines, they lose all that money for the infrastructure. That's really wrong.
It's detrimental, and it is wrong. It is wrong. They've put this money, they've planned this, they've done everything that they're supposed to do.
And they're investing in New York State. Like, yes, they do it for a living. Yes, they're making money. But there's a lot of headaches involved with building that people think it's easy. It's not, definitely not easy.
Right.
If it does get turned around, like say it's in effect for 6 months until June of next year, that's also a problem, because what about the houses where permits were pulled from January to June?
Right.
Now they built all electric houses, and in 4 or 5 years, say they want to move and sell their house.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to buy that
Nobody
house.
wants that all electric house. No.
It's a big problem.
Yeah. We try the best that we can to get the information out there. And the only thing I can say is that anybody that's watching this, come to Lobby Day and participate, because your stories and your voices, I can speak from a supplier side but I don't fully know, or I'm not personally dealing with it, building a home with a client, but just participation and having your voice heard, because these legislators have no idea. They really don't. And they need to hear it from us. And they do listen. I will say they take notes and they listen. What happens afterwards, we did get Carrie Warner put in a grandfathering bill, so projects that are already in place. She entered that bill. It made it all the way through the Assembly. It just didn't make it through the Senate. We just didn't have enough support in the Senate. So it kind of feels like our balloon is a little burst because we tried so hard and we made it so far, but we just didn't make it to the tail end.
What can you guys do to have more of an effect in New York State? I know it's difficult because of, like you're saying, you have to go through these layers where New York State is primarily Democrat, and we're not going to get into politics, but like it's hard to get the right side of the table to vote left and the left side of the table to vote right, you know?
Of course. I would say if we could have somebody that was representing just the upstate New York, which really means just everything except Long Island and New York City, I think that would be helpful. Right now, NYSBA does have a lobbyist, but I just think that their views, they're really focused on the southern, on that southern area. And we need somebody to kind of speak for upstate New York.
Do you think there's any chance of that? That's a great idea. If they just separated, even if it was for building codes or laws, you know, there's a lot of things that carrying a gun, you can't carry a gun in New York City, but you can carry one upstate.
Right.
You know, so they do have separate jurisdictions with some things.
Maybe that would be a compromise, because I know that same survey that I saw said that, you know, people in Long Island and New York City are all for all electric homes. But it's mostly the capital region, the upstate, that area is generally not in support of it.
Yeah. I wish that New York State focused on putting funding towards research and making it more affordable.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if that's your pet project as a politician to go all electric, like advocate for companies to figure out ways to make it more affordable for homeowners. And then once it's cheaper, you don't even need to put it into law because people start doing it.
People will go with it.
Yeah, people think with their wallets when it comes to building and anything in general. You know, it's just like electric cars. If it makes sense for you to buy one, you're going to buy one.
Right.
You know, that's if you tell people they have to, that's where I have an issue with it.
Don't tell me what to do. I hate that.
I know your husband, so
Yeah.
Chris, are you listening to this too? No. So what's going on now in New York State? Is there anything that's
So we're just waiting for
for?
the PSC. We're waiting for them to come to some sort of a resolution. I do think that there are some amendments happening to the wetlands. I don't know that those are formalized yet, but there's just a lot of information flying, and it's also trying to understand. Okay, so if all electrification goes through, they sent out the verbiage, but the verbiage is very just general. So they say if you have I should have brought some notes with me because again, there's so much like technical verbiage. Mostly complete permit, then you're exempt. What is mostly complete? What does that mean?
It's another gray area for them to do whatever they want.
Yeah, and what we're understanding is that it's going to be based on the local jurisdiction. So the county or the town that you're in may not have the same view of mostly complete as one town over. So if you have anything that that's not to the point where you would, have that permit, I think you'd want to reach out to your local municipality and see what their thoughts are on that.
Do you know did New York State put it into the town's hands as far as whether or not they want to start enforcing it before the first of the year?
I don't know that. I wouldn't think that they could.
I heard something saying it was going to be up to the town's discretion when they wanted to start enforcing it. Like if they get an overflow of permits to try and get ahead of the curve.
That's awful.
It's
Okay.
Well said. Yeah. Very much so. Now that I'm all ticked off about this electric thing, are there any other things you guys are fighting for that's currently on the table that people should know about? Off their cuff, can you think of anything?
Those are the topics right now. I mean, obviously, also just workforce development and getting people involved in construction and the trades. There's, everybody you talk to needs workers. So I always think of it as like sharing your story of, your success and, my husband, Chris, talks about that too. Whenever he sees a young person that doesn't know what to do, he's like, construction is the way to go. Like, you can make great money. It's rewarding. You're working with your hands. You're not sitting at a desk every day. So that's something that definitely needs some focus.
Yeah. Do you guys do any work with Bob Ford? I know he's big into that. It's not young professionals. He does the workforce development.
Yeah, he's
or Doug Ford.
Doug
excuse
Ford,
me,
that
yeah.
very long name, Northeast Construction Trades. We are a sponsor of theirs, but we don't necessarily do events with them just because we've got our hands in so many other things.
How long have you guys been doing that? The development workforce?
A long time. I would say probably a couple years for sure. It's been a focus, but we definitely want to focus more on it next year.
Are you seeing an uptick?
I am seeing, yes, there's definitely seeing younger people coming into the trades for sure. There definitely still needs to be more. And I think that perception of you have to go to college has kind of dwindled. I think the cost of college is turning a lot of people off, but also just wanting to get out there and just get a job and start working right away.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's so many opportunities right now because of the shortage.
Right. And with AI technology coming in, you can't really, maybe you can have a bulldozer run by AI, but not right now. You can't.
Not yet. Well, there is GPS, but you still got to have somebody sitting in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, ask Chris. He would know. Yeah. He's an operator. Is there anything else going on at the CRBRA that you'd like to bring up or talk about?
Best in Building Award entries have opened. And that's always a great way to showcase your work and be celebrated by your peers. So that event will be in November on the 13th at Franklin Plaza, and you have until the end of September to get your entries in. But I feel like that's always like such a great way to kind of end the year, and it's a night to celebrate, after you fought so hard all year doing legislative things. You're like, all right, let's talk about fun stuff and put our projects in.
Yeah. So if you do the president thing for the CRBRA, a couple more years, maybe you'll back off a little bit, you're thinking?
I think so. Yeah. Sorry, Kristen, but yes.
Yeah. Do you plan on focusing more towards the best tile and moving up the ladder there, or what's your career
I don't know.
goals?
It's funny, as I was talking to a designer this morning, I'm also on another board because, again, I don't know how to say no. So I'm on the board for IIDA, which is the International Interior Design Association. Been on that for...
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's more commercial interior design based.
Okay.
They are also just starting to start an advocacy effort to try and get interior designers licensed in New York State so that, Mrs. Smith, who likes to pick out throw pillows, can't just call herself an interior designer and charge people. So, I'm kind of on these two boards right now, and I do really enjoy that. I don't know if I want to get more involved in some other tile-related boards, whether it be like NTCA, which is the National Tile Contractors Association, or TCNA, the Tile Council of North America, all these acronyms. I don't know. I think I'll be involved in something always because I just like to stay busy. I like to stay involved and informed. And again, the networking, I just love to meet new people. So we'll see.
Yeah, and you stay relevant. That's one of the big things. Yeah, for sure. What's your goal for your career with Best Tile? Where do you want to end up there? Or not there?
Tough questions. I have
Sorry,
to say,
Carmine.
no.
He's listening. Okay.
I don't know that I can see myself not there. That just seems crazy that I've been there 18 years and again, it was my only big girl job, but I do really love it. So I'd love to stay there and maybe continue through in management and have more of a team underneath me, and help them grow, teach the people below me the things that I've learned to kind of help them do the things that I've done.
No, that makes sense. So now being in management, was there a learning curve for you doing that?
Yeah, and I'm still learning every single day.
Yeah.
And I don't do a lot of, I don't manage a lot of people directly. I have a team that kind of looks up to me and asks questions if they need need me, but I do more like internal, whether it be pricing structures or systems, how operations basically. But it is definitely a learning curve of learning how to delegate properly, not expecting people to read your mind. If you have a timeline in your brain of when you want something done, you've got to express that because nobody's a mind reader. And if something's a priority and it needs to get done right now, you've got to express that.
Yeah.
And that was definitely something I learned, like, well, why didn't you do that right away? Well, you gave me 5 things. I didn't know this was the most important.
Yeah, that's very true. And if it's in your head, you're thinking, well, why don't you know it? It's
right?
in my
Why
head.
isn't it in your head? Our heads aren't connected.
I struggle with that too.
Yeah.
That was a learning curve for me as well.
Yeah.
Just being able to relay that message and also in like a nice way sometimes.
Right.
Very difficult. Yeah. So I have a couple rapid fire questions for you that I want to ask.
Okay.
I like to try and do this with our guests. First thing off the top of your head, you're not allowed to take time on this. All right.
Okay.
All right. So in tile, what's your favorite pattern right now?
Hexagon.
If you weren't in construction, what would your career be?
Hairdresser.
Really?
I wanted to go to BOCES when I was in high school, and my guidance counselor said, you'll never make money. You got to go to college.
Do you regret it?
I don't regret it because of the life that I have, and I wouldn't have met the people that I have. But what's funny is my mother-in-law retired as a hairdresser, and she had a wonderfully successful and fulfilling career. And I'm like, I could have had that. but no, I don't regret it, but just funny.
Do you have a passion for the building industry now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really do.
Did you think you ever would, or that just kind of grew naturally?
I think it just kind of grew. Like when I started at Best Tile, I really started to get experience. I said, I want to learn about different finishes, so I'll just learn. I'll kind of gain confidence of working with customers. And then the more I was there, the more rewarding it felt. I kind of climbed up the ladder a little bit, and then I just started learning about the ins and outs, more about building and about setting materials and installations and steam rooms and all the different things. And then joining CRBRA, learning even more of the bigger picture. It really is, it's incredibly fulfilling.
It's funny. You see a lot of stuff online, like the TikTok videos where guys or girls are doing a project and you're like, the moment when you realize your summer job, you're now 15 years in, you know, like when you're in high school or college. Yeah. That was me too. I did constructions in the summers, and now it's like, okay, I guess I'm a builder.
Yeah.
You know? You get sucked into it.
You do.
It's fulfilling though.
Absolutely.
Very fulfilling. All right, back to our questions. Best advice you've ever been given in business? This is a hard one.
Best advice I've ever been given in business. Don't ever lie.
That's fair.
I don't know.
One change you'd make in the building industry tomorrow if you could?
God, you said I'm not allowed to think now. All I want to do is think.
No, you can.
One change. Maybe that there was more understanding from the homeowner to what a builder really does. And, like you hear so many things about clients saying, well, that's just so expensive. I just don't understand that. Well, there's a lot that goes into it. And same thing from a material standpoint. That's just too expensive. Kind of understanding where that cost comes from and that it's not all just crazy markup on everything.
Right. Well, there's not a lot of transparency in the building industry either, which is something that we try and do as a company, like doing a cost plus project where you see what your cost actually is, and it breaks down all the different insurances and overheads so the client can see it. And then that, I feel like at that point, then they're like, well, maybe we'll go back to lump sum. Like, that's more than we thought, because there is a ton involved in it, especially in New York.
Of course.
The insurances. And favorite project you've ever worked on?
I have to say, and this isn't residential, but one that I am currently working on, it's kind of finishing up, is a mental health facility in Michigan. It was very cool to work on this project with the designers. The designers are out of Troy, but the project's in Michigan. And it's just been really cool to see how the project has evolved. And I mentioned earlier about the different finishes that you have to choose in these facilities. I'm so interested to see the completed photos and hear how, the patients like the space.
Cool. Last thing, women, young girls going into the industry today. If you could talk to them, what advice could you give them? What would you tell them? Like, do you have any directional advice or, mentor advice? There's
a lot of different places in the construction industry that you can land. It doesn't just have to be in design, but design is great and it is really fun. Be confident in yourself. Construction is a industry full of men, and a lot of them don't like to work with women. And just be confident, but also know what you're talking about. I think that that's something that why I am where I am is I'm very confident, but I'm very knowledgeable. I do the research. I take the classes. I learn things so that when I'm talking to somebody, so many times I'll get a phone call at the store. Can I talk to your guy over in contractors about how to build a shower? I go, I can tell you. You can? I sure can. But I know how to do it. So be confident because you can learn and you can know those skills that, most men have as well.
Are there any hurdles they can expect? Other than just being predominantly men? I mean, if you ask for help, I'm a guy, so I have a different perspective. If I didn't know something, I would say it, but I probably get a different reaction than maybe you would. Is there any hurdles they can look for or expect to see along the way?
I think if you're asking for help and asking for information, bring as much to the table as you can. So don't, do a little bit of the research on your own so that you've got some base of knowledge and then, reach out for that help and information. I feel like that's true with most things. If you just say, can you just do this for me? Nobody really wants to do that. But if you say, hey, I've come 50% of the way, but I really need help getting that other 50% of the way, most people are willing to help you do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, Christine.
Thank you.
If you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. With me today is Christine Raible of Best Tile. You do selections, coordinations, manager.
Just not the toilets.
Just not the toilets. And also president of the CRBRA. I really appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I was honored when you reached out.
Thank you, guys. I'm your host, Scott Raffensperger. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. See you next time.